You know, I think we don't see things that are happening with us in our lives. And I was talking to a few people and I said, what are those things? What bothers you? And what are some of the things that we are afraid of? And sometimes what we're angry about, we're afraid of. What are we angry about? What are we afraid of? We're afraid of becoming unhealthy. We're afraid of getting something that we can't get out of. We're afraid of money situations that we can't solve. We're afraid of getting older and not having security. We're afraid of how we're going to take care of parents if something goes wrong. We're afraid of death. We're afraid of losing people that we love. We're afraid of losing that job at the wrong place and at the wrong time. What do we do? Everything that you deal with in life is not just practice, but it is preparation for the next step. I think we have taught people for so long that real faith is about avoiding storms, about being able to speak wonderful words and make storms disappear. But Jesus, who is one of the greatest teachers ever, didn't always speak to storms to make them go away. Sometimes Jesus walked through them and ignored them. Sometimes you don't just try to make them leave. You learn to ignore them and walk through them. Either way, the storm is of no consequence. What can I say about life today? Everywhere we look, pick up the newspaper. Now it's not just the newspaper, but we turn on our cell phones, our iPads. CNN pops up, Washington Post pops up. Something is always going on. And we feel challenged everywhere. Sometimes the opportunity to go higher is in what we've been doing all along. Just preparation. Don't get discouraged. Don't get bent out of shape. Because a lot of what you deal with is preparation. The road signs. Your life, your best life, is up ahead of you. Don't give up now. I believe that thing that you really desire is right around the corner. And I think you're ready for it. Yeah. Make the shift. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there. Welcome to After Dark. I am Ed Montgomery, aka Dr. Ed. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I call it tonight because it is after dark, but after dark is not just about after, dark in the nighttime. After dark means that weeping can only endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. In other words, morning will come, dawn will come, the sun will rise, and darkness will be dispelled. So there is hope that after darkness comes the light. And but in the midst of the darkness, that's what we talk about. We talk about how do you deal with things that can become dark? How do you deal with things that can become, hey, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out? Recently, and recently, it's not just a spiritual thing that we talk about, but recently I've been thinking about how we combine this spiritual thing with natural things. In other words, things that we deal with every day. We deal with business. We deal with work in the corporate realm. We deal with flipping burgers at a quick hamburger joint. We deal with waiting on tables. We deal with working in a mall. We deal with starting our own business, and maybe the business is barely making enough money to keep your rent paid. But the fact is that you began something, you started something. And sometimes these things go through dark places. Yes, I said it. Dark places and dark spaces. This is how we look at what faith really is. I think if I were to call this anything, I would call this the ability to faith through stress. Okay, let me say that again. And believe me, this just came out the clear. I just made this up. It's not written down anywhere. It's the ability to faith through stress. And I stopped using the word faith as as a noun or a commodity, but I said to faith through. In other words, using it as a verb, using it as how do you get, what do you use to get to the next levels of living? How do you get past the stress? How do you get past the things that happen to us every day? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I think I said this last week, but I want to say it again. When I heard that Vice President Kamala Harris was going to run for President of the United States, that lifted a burden. I know you might be saying, what kind of, lifted a burden? It's almost like I felt some kind of weight lift because I've been dealing with so much news. I do a secular radio show every week on KTSU 90.9 from 12 to 1 p.m. in Houston. It's not just in Houston, but it's also global because you can go to ktsu.com and pick it up and then click the program and actually get it all over the world. But it has a secular feel to it. It's a secular bent to it. It's not a Christian program. I also get the opportunity to do Sensational Sunday, which is where our congregation, I'm the founding director of Abundant Life Cathedral and Abundant Life Center right here in the city of Katy. We've been in the city of Houston for over 40 years. We're right now doing ministry in the city of Katy on Sunday morning, so I do that. So shout out to all my friends and shout out to all the people that we've known through the years. And for those of you that I see on Sunday and those of you that I see online, I'm looking at how what's been happening in politics, what's been happening with Democrat, Republican, what's been happening with these parties, what's been happening with Christians who seem to be backing a person who's a felon, a person who is, it seems that he's all about himself. And I'm wondering how many of my friends, church folk, that I've had at our church, who I've been there, I've people that I've known for years. What happened that would make you take your religion and take your faith and switch it into a person that does not seem to care about other, quote, other people, and then make you applaud for it and then call it Christianity? First of all, you've heard me say it. I believe there's two kinds. I believe there is Christ, and I believe there's Christianity Incorporated. I believe there's Christianity and Christianity Incorporated. There's the following of Jesus Christ and his teachings, because that's what I do. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ and his teachings. And also there is the Christianity Incorporated, the church, the machine, the religious machine that tries to get you to plant your fidelity to it. And if you say, I'm a member of this church, in other words, this commodity, this business, and there's nothing wrong. We know the church has its business aspect, but Christianity Incorporated is when you take Jesus and make Jesus a commodity and make faith in Jesus a commodity. Listen to me very carefully. If you're going to get through anything in life, I believe we've got to totally reshape how we think concerning our faith. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you. That's lying. That's lying over here. This lying is my friend lying. But I'm not lying. I look at faith differently now. This is why you tune to this show. This is basically what I'm going to tell you. I do not see faith as a commodity that you put in your pocket. I do not see it as something you can hold in your hand, although faith, of course, is intangible, it's invisible. But it's not an invisible thing that you can hold in your hand or invisibly hold in your hand, put in your pocket, and use it as a lucky coin that you can rub when you get in trouble, or a rabbit's foot that you can hold when things don't go right with you, or an ATM machine that'll give you cash when you run out of bills. This is not how I see faith. And many times people think of faith like that. Well, I'm just believing God and having faith that I'm going to get my bills paid. I'm having faith that I'm going to be healed of this sickness. I'm having faith that my marriage is going to get back together. I'm having faith. Somebody said, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. But what is it? What are you talking about? I have faith. Are you talking about that commodity that you have in your pocket and maybe trying to get more faith, more commodity in your pocket? So when you finally get enough faith packed on top of enough faith, then all of a sudden maybe what you need will take place. Is that what you're saying? All right, let me help you. Let me help you walk this line. Faith, or what I call faithing, because it is a verb. It is walking with Jesus Christ and his teachings every day, learning something new about the life of Christ and the life of Jesus in connection with the life of what he called his Father, or what we call the source of all being, the progenitor, the one from whom life comes from and gives other people life. And Jesus teaches us how to connect with that Father, how to connect with that supreme life giver. That's what it's all about. That's what Jesus is teaching us. That's why we follow it. And that's why I say I'm a follower of Jesus Christ and his teachings, because I'm seeing how does he relate to his source? How does he relate to the source or the creator of the universe, the energy that is flowing all around us and all around him? How did Jesus relate to that flow of energy? How did he relate to when he would read the Old Testament scriptures? How did he see God, this God that he loved, this God that spoke of Jesus as his son? And not just son as far as male, but son as far as offspring. And then we learn something else. That not only is Jesus the offspring of God, but Jesus is called the firstborn among many brethren, which means that we are the brothers and sisters of Jesus Christ, if we look at it that way. If Jesus is the firstborn, then those of us who are born again or born from above or born after are the offspring of God also. But Jesus is our elder brother, and we look unto Jesus, who is the author and finisher of our faith. That's Hebrews chapter 12. And we realize something about Jesus. He's teaching us how to access the creative power, the energy, the flow of the Father, of the initiator himself. And I use that word himself very loosely, because God is not a man or a female. God is not a man that he should lie. God is not a woman. God is spirit. God is absolute spirit. God is absolute consciousness. God is that which comes through our receptions, our receptacles of our minds and our brains and our physical bodies, This is our spirituality. We learn how he does that. Oh my goodness. And when we learn how he does that, then we learn something about faith. And I'm going to tell you what faith really is and why it matters and why it is so important that you have a true sense of what faith is. Because when you don't, you will wind up doing anything that Christianity Incorporated will have you to do. You will wind up following crazed people who are trying to get you to do something and using the trickery of faith to pull you in, to tell you if you're truly a Christian, you should vote for those people over there. To believe that, we hear people talk about Christian nationalism. We want our country back. You want your country back from who? This world is constantly changing. And there are people all around us who are flowing all around us, just as this thing about faith comes up. So we're stressed. And that's what I found. You're stressed because I got to talk about this stuff, put it on the news, put it on the radio, pick some of it off to deal with telecasts like this. And so I get stressed about it. Got stressed about it, get stressed about it. But when I heard about the vice president actually deciding, hey, I'm going for president of the United States, I said, go girl, go on. Get out of here and do it. And I say that to you too. That's what true faith is. Faithing is walking every day with the teaching of Jesus Christ and learning to understand it every day and growing by it every day. And then all of a sudden, something will happen. The stress, a stressful situation. You wind up maybe in politics and maybe you didn't win. Maybe you've lost your confidence. Maybe your heart was broken. Maybe there are scars from past events. You tell me what it is. I could tell you some of mine. They don't think I'm just talking. I could tell you some of my scars, and I could show you some of, when you're a kid, you show, look at where I got cut with a bottle, or I got cut with a rock, and we could trade scars with each other. But what it is faith a commodity, or what is it really that enables us to get past stress, that enables us to get past all of the things that would keep our shoulders slumped and our countenance down? What's going to lift our heads and enable us to throw our shoulders back and to stand firm and to stand tall and to realize it ain't over yet? It's this kind of faith that even goes beyond Christianity Incorporated. Look, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to tell you just exactly what this faithing is. But right this moment, give me about 60, maybe about 180 seconds. Let me ask you this. Are you hearing? Are you learning? Are you picking up from these telecasts? If you are, always let me know. You can do it by hitting the thumbs up, hitting the like buttons, or comments telling us, I love it, telling us what city you're watching from. You can also do it by letting your friends know and sharing this with some of your close friends so that they can click us on algorithms to go even higher. Then they'll bring us in spaces we're not supposed to be in. But more than that, take a moment, go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. Or you can text 713-742-2035. Those numbers are on your screen. Those websites are on your screen. This is how you can give to help us get to talking to more and more people, because you know what? We're going to have to marry our spirituality with our everyday living. All right, do it now. Take a moment, do it now. Or if you don't do it now, don't forget. Because I'm going to tell you about this faithing thing. Faith is not a commodity you put in your pocket and wait for a bad thing to happen. That's stressful. But faith is what we learn every day. Faith is what we learn about not only Christ and Jesus and scriptures and verses, but what I learn about myself. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I love people. We know people get on our nerves sometimes, but I love people. And that's one of the reasons I do what I do. Why do you do what you do? It may be for your family. It may be for your distant family. It could be for a lot of different reasons to understand your purpose and purposes in life. All these things can be, it can be reasons. There's nothing wrong with those reasons. But faithing is this everyday walk and journey that we do with Christ. Is when we get up in the mornings and when we take our hands and we breathe deep and we learn to meditate and go deeper in our meditation to where we learn how to snip off and cut off the outside world, at least for a moment, so that we can be one with ourselves and not be afraid with being with ourselves. To be with ourselves, we also learn how to be alone with Jesus Christ. We can find him in the scripture. Now, I didn't say that every scripture is from the word of God or from the mouth of God. No, but there are scriptures that we hear and that we read, and we can hear the voice of God right inside of those things. And you take those scriptures. When you hear something like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack, it says to you, and you hear the voice of God say, I am your shepherd, and you shall not lack for anything. So the healing of your bodies, the healing of our minds, the lifting of the load of stress that can remove inflammation, which we already know. These things right here and right now is worth learning what Jesus is talking about every single week. And that's what I've been dealing with, especially on Sensational Sundays. It is Mark chapter 11, verse 23, 24. It says, have faith in God, or have faithing in God. Follow the teachings of Jesus. And not only that, but look at how Jesus did what he did, how Jesus moved into the world, how he moved around, his prayer moments, his prayer life, the power, the miracles that he performed were not just, walking water. Oh, that's easy. No, it didn't come because he knows how to walk water. It comes because he knows how to be in communion with his Father, with the creator of the universe. And he also knows how to be compassionate to his friends. He had to get to his friends, and he didn't have time to take a boat, so he just walked on the water. Isn't that something, how compassion can cause you to walk on top of things? Good things can come to us. I believe it is. I feel a little of that stress load lifted. But I believe more can be lifted. And that's what I'm challenging you with. You don't have to stay in the dark. You can come to the light. And if you don't like it too bright, we can dim it. But you can still come into the light. Let your faithing, your everyday experiences with yourself and with your Christ, lift your stress and cause you to live. Goodness gracious alive. I'm bringing some people in here with me, so this is the first time that I've brought some folk in my prayer closet. I was going to do, we come before thee and we beseech thee, and knee bent and body bowed, but You know I don't talk to you that way, right? They don't know that you call me Edward, so they just finished that show that we did, and it's a little different, but I'm hoping we reach some people. But listen, I'm just gonna be real with you. There's some folk in my life that you're gonna have to can you get rid of them? Okay, I knew you wasn't gonna do that, but I'm not talking about rid of them. I'm talking about, can you just kind of push them back a little bit? They're messing with me. Yeah, I know. I'm trusting you for so many things, so many places in my life that I need you in. And I know you can deal with you, I'm not alone, but sometimes there's loneliness. But with you, I can get through this. I'm at the point now that I'm just going to trust you with it. Can you help with the clicks? You know, Lord, I need algorithms. You don't mess with that, right? Okay. So you don't mess with the algorithm, and you can't move those people. Okay. Well, at least I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Thanks for everything else. Couldn't have made it without you. Night, Lord. This room is filled with so much energy. It is filled with abundance everywhere I go, whether I'm in this room, whether I'm in this space, whatever it is, the space where you are, even though there is glass and plastic and Wi-Fi between us, actually we are in the same space. We are in the same place. We are in the moment of now. I want you to grab a hold of this now. First of all, thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your donations, but more than anything, thank you for your partnership, because that's what enables us to reach out and to connect with more people. Take a moment. Let your gratitude show. You can text or give 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go straight to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. And you can give. Press that donate button. It will take you immediately. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Or if you're old school, you can write a check. Slip it into an envelope and you make sure you put a stamp on it. And you can send it to Abundant Life Center or Ed Montgomery. It doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into the organization. It's the ministry. And you can send it to P.O. Box 772-300, Houston, Texas, 77215. Those are the ways to be able to send it. But once you send it, there's a way that will be made in your heart. First of all, it will be warm and loving, but it'll also open the doors for other people. And you can't beat that with a stick, as my granddaddy used to say. Thank you so much. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.